Hey everybody, welcome back to Dredge, the Pale Reach DLC. This is part 2. As you saw there, the Pale Reach pursuits were up on the board. We have 2 open ones. That's the Hooded Figure pursuit to feed it a aberrated sea star, and finding the 3 pieces for the Icebreaker. There are 5 pursuits altogether in the Pale Reach. And the main pursuit isn't actually one that's really on the board, I guess. Or it's not on the board yet. I guess the main pursuit is something we're going to deal with later. So I start this video finally going down that long winding path that we first opened up once we met the photographer, and we fed or we put in the fish into the little depository there, and the narwhal came and destroyed the wall. We're going to do that a couple more times in this video here, and we are going to collect the Icebreaker pieces and start collecting the next pursuit, which is involves the frozen figure here that we're going to talk to in just a minute. So you're going to find 4 docks along this path. 3 of them I think we can get to by using the narwhal to break the ice walls, and then once we break through these 3 ice walls, we're going to be able to get the Icebreaker, and then we're going to break ice ourselves. So the 4th dock we won't be able to get to until we have the Icebreaker fully put together, along with a couple other areas that we're going to need to go into to collect these pickaxes. They remind me of the pickaxe that Lara Croft has in the what was that, 2013 Tomb Raider? The newish one from I guess about 10 years ago. Her little pickaxe. I think it's probably more in the second Tomb Raider that came out at that time. But you're going to discover 4 pickaxes, and you're going to use a pickaxe on each of these frozen spirits, frozen people, frozen... they're not survivors. You see that ice shard right there. So each one of them tells a bit of the lore from this area. Apparently 4 people on a boat did something they shouldn't have done, and now they're all frozen in ice. And when we get to the 4th frozen individual, you will see a I guess you could call it a beast. It's something that's alive-ish. But that will take a little bit of time before we get to that. Go ahead and listen to the lore. Read the hidden notes that we found. The other thing that we found as we first started exploring this dock here was a hand-drawn map. So now we have a way of kind of getting a better idea of where everything is. And I'm going to start placing some landmarks down where we found the Icebreaker pieces. Break the ice, that is what we need the pickaxe for. There's the pickaxe silhouette. So we will find 4 of those, and we will also find the Icebreaker pieces. So the first 3 of these docks will be very close to the pieces we need for the Icebreaker, and there will also be a couple pickaxes we will find. No, actually, I don't think you can get any of the pickaxes until you have the Icebreaker on, because all the pickaxes are kind of glowing gold things in the water, but they are behind the breakable ice. I wanted to do a little bit of a correction here. So we already have 4 of the 5 pursuits on the board. There's only one more that we're missing, and that is to, I guess, find the ice former. I think that's the last one. So there's the map. As you can see, it's kind of an open area in the middle that we can now get to. This is also the area where the narwhal is. So you want to be a little mindful of that. And right here is our first piece of the icebreaker. Find all 3 pieces, bring that to the traveling merchant that we saw when we first entered this area, and she will help us piece together that device. This is something that you can put on your boat and you can equip it or take it off, mostly for aesthetics. I imagine it's not like a trawl net or I'm trying to think what other device that you have on your boat that needs to be constantly repaired as you use it. I know there's at least one other thing, but anyway, you know, it doesn't have any wear, at least none that I've seen in the 6 or 7 hours I put into the DLC. So the main objective of this point is you're going to traverse this open area. This is where the narwhal is going to attack you more often. It doesn't follow you through the other channels as aggressively as the one-eyed kind of snake serpent kind of creature in Gale Cliffs, but as you can see, it's kind of lunging at us. What you want to do is you want to collect enough fish to deposit into this space here, make kind of a sacrifice to the narwhal, and it will smash through that ice wall and allow you entry into the next area. And you're going to do this 2 more times, I think. I think you only have to do it 3 times in total. We've already done it once. We got the first trophy of the DLC. So we're just grabbing some ice fish. We put in that new funny looking shark thing. I think that's almost enough. I think we actually need 1 more in order to fill the space, and then once it's filled, then you'll gain entry to the next area, and that will open up to the next place you need to dock with the next frozen spirit and the icebreaker piece. I think you're also... No, you're not gonna... We already established we don't find the ice, the pickaxes until we can actually break through the ice. So go over here and fill this up. Try to avoid the little water cyclone there. I think I end up having to remove the shark because I can't make that work. That little space there. Yes, the goblin shark has to go. But we have enough, so we're good to go. So it's the same deal. And also, once you feed the narwhal, I believe I probably just mentioned this, once you feed the narwhal, you're safe for a little bit, you know? You do that, it will leave you alone. Even I think there's even a message here that the narwhal is satisfied for now. That should keep it satisfied, at least for a little while. So that allows you to get to the next area without worrying about getting attacked. And then later on, once we have the icebreaker, like right there, I think that's one of the ice, the pickaxes that actually, because the rare fish is not notated by any like glowing colors. It's just something you can find, but it's in one of those kind of areas that you have to get through using the icebreaker. As you can see, I have some explosives there, thinking that I could maybe use them to get through some of the ice, but no. The way this works is you get the icebreaker, and that's really all you're supposed to do. So here's our next area. We're going to read the little lure messages and speak with the spirit. So you're getting a little bit more of the story of what happened, and of course there is a highlighted option to break the ice, which you cannot do until you get the pickaxes. Over here to the left of the dock is our next icebreaker piece. So go ahead and pick that up. If you want to, you can bring these both back to the traveling merchant to get them out of your cargo, because they do take up a little bit of space and they're a little awkward in the way that they sit in your cargo. But if you want to brave the night, you can go ahead and break the last ice wall that we need to get through. I'm placing a marker there because that is the place we're going to have to return with the pickaxe, as well as it is the place where we got one of 3 of the icebreaker pieces. So use that in the guide. And I don't remember if I go straight over. I should go straight over, and since I have so much fish in my cargo, may as well feed it to the narwhal. But if I don't, let's just say my plan was to feed the narwhal so I had more time. Well, it looks like I'm about to do it. No, and I go right past it. Okay, good. That was my plan all along. I may have also been focusing on... Oh, it's 9 in the morning. Oh, right, because I slept. I slept at the dock. Sorry about that. Yeah, I must have returned in order to get it out of my cargo. I think that's what I did. So we're going to deposit the 2 icebreaker pieces I also wasn't 100% sure if I had to find the third piece or if we were going to craft the third piece. All of the crafting materials, you know, the scraps of metal, the lumber, the pieces of cloth, there are a few deposits around the Pale Reach that you can collect, but if you are fully upgraded from playing the game previously, there is nothing new to use those supplies for. So if you pick any of them up, you're not really going to be able to use them. If you still need to do some of your upgrades to your hull and, you know, whatever else you might need them for, then, you know, certainly collect them. You're not going to get a massive amount of them here, though. I only picked up in the first video you saw me pick up one piece of scrap metal, just because I wasn't sure if we were going to need to use it. And you do not need any of that stuff in order to make the icebreaker. You just need the 3 pieces. So we went ahead and deposited those 2 pieces. I don't know, I think I didn't pay attention if I sold all the fish that I had. I'm probably going to need to catch some more, which is fine because we still need to get some aberrations. We still need to get a few more varieties of fish in this area for both of those trophies. Something that I think I meant to correct earlier, but I don't think I've gotten around to it. In the previous video I said there was 67 aberrations in the main game. That was incorrect. It's actually 61 aberrations in the main game. 67 varieties of fauna that you're supposed to catch for the main game. So 61, and then they added 10 during the update 2 with the photographer. 10 more aberrations there, so that would be 71. And now I count 96 aberrations altogether. So by my count, that means that they added 13 aberrations for the kind of crabs, mollusks, all those kind of things you can catch with crab pots, and a few with the trawl net. I still haven't identified exactly how many that are for the painter, which again does not account for any trophy in the DLC. You do not need to catch any of those new crab aberrations. But if you have not gotten Aberration Attractor, is that what it's called? If you have not gotten, yes, Aberration Attractor in the main game, it's a possibility that you have a full 96 aberrations you need to catch in order to get that trophy with all updates and this DLC. So if you're, you know, again, if you're starting this game from scratch, I would suggest you don't buy and download this DLC until, I mean, if you're gonna catch them all anyway, then fine, do it, you know, and then you'll get the platinum when you do what you need to do anyway. But if you want to save yourself some trouble and not have to worry about catching all of those new crabs in crab pots, because you can't use atrophy to automatically catch an aberrated crab, you know, you can't force it to show up in the crab pot. So just keep that in mind. If you haven't finished the base game and you're still working on that trophy, this DLC will add 25 aberrations altogether, and only 12 of them are ones you're going to have to find for this DLC trophy. The other 13 you won't have to find if you already have Aberration Attractor, but you can if you want to get all the new paint varieties and colors and things. So we just fed the narwhal again. We busted down the wall, and we have reached our final piece for the icebreaker, and we are looking straight at the next dock where there is a spirit. And I feel like in this area there's also an ice pick. I mean, pickaxe. I keep saying ice pickaxe. I believe there's a pickaxe here. I could be wrong, but I believe that helps you start your journey on finding those. A little bit of lore here, and we will return to the traveling merchant, put on our icebreaker, and move on to the next part of the DLC. I just looked ahead a little bit, and I am incorrect. The pickaxe is not here, but there is a random treasure, which is I find very strange. I thought this was going to be something amazing, like, wow, they have a treasure in here, and it's the only one, and it's after you find the third spirit. It's just a ring. It's just like, you know, a treasure you find in the main game, randomly in the water. So we returned back to the traveling merchant. We're clearing out all of our unnecessary items. We don't need the explosives anymore, and we are putting our last piece of the icebreaker into the thing in this, what was that, icy, I forget what that building is. And then we get the icebreaker trophy for building that device, and that's gonna go onto our the front of our boat. We can equip it, we can take it off. As I mentioned, I did not see any wear and tear on it at any point. Plenty of king crabs and sea stars, but none of them are aberrated sea stars, of course. It's going to be a long while until I start actually putting out more crab pots, and as soon as I do, I get what I need. That's how it always works. So this is how the icebreaker works. You just go into these smaller ice bits and they break apart. I didn't find any tricks as far as, you know, pieces of stone mixed in with the ice to try to trick you. Once you have the icebreaker, you're pretty much set up. You cannot drive into the large, massive pieces of ice, the glaciers that we're driving in between. It's just those little pieces. So once you have kind of tested that out, go on back to the traveling merchant, and they will start talking to you at the icy work site about the next thing they would like you to find. the ice shaper. I called it an ice former earlier. The ice shaper. So it's just a one-piece device you need to find. It's very simple to retrieve. You give it back to the traveling merchant, and you will get pieces of ice, little blocks of ice from her as a reward, and then you can buy more pieces of ice after you hand that over, and use that to keep your fish fresh longer. And again, you will see it once it works out. I didn't go you need to go the other direction in order to get the ice shaper, so we don't get it just yet. I think I'm still focused on driving into things that are going to damage my boat and checking to see if we have an aberrated sea star, because I was really fixated on feeding the hooded figure. Again, thankfully, update 1 to this game, they removed the timetables for feeding the hooded figures, because that was the most stressful thing about the game. So now we can break through the ice, and we can discover kind of new areas, and we find our first ice peck here. This is what they look like. You'll find all 4 of them. I could have sworn there was one right next to one of the... It must be the final spirit. The one that's down and to the left on this map. It's called like Terminus or something. No, now Eastern Terminus is there. But you'll see it in a little bit. We'll head over there. And I'm just starting to mark where the axes are. I don't think I continue doing that very well. And this is a place where you're going to need to place 4 objects. We don't have any of them yet. And I spent a few minutes trying to figure out what it was. I thought it was maybe a jellyfish or something that I haven't seen yet. I thought maybe it was the aberrated king crab. So I play around with it a little bit. Unless I cut that out. Maybe I did cut that out. And I'm going through the encyclopedia. I think the first time I've captured me doing this. That's what we're trying to find, the aberrated sea star there. The aberrated giant squid is also featured in the encyclopedia there that we just saw. So yeah, I was a little confused at what this was. But this is an item you're going to get after you retrieve some of the pickaxes and visit the spirits frozen in ice again. So we're chopping through the ice a little bit. I don't know if I just showed where I was in the map. If not, I will show it very soon. But this is the final dock we need to go to. And I don't know if you noticed that massive thing in the middle there. Well, there you can see it now. It's got 4 eyes that move all over the place, and it's a little disturbing. This is Southern Loctus, I believe it's what the area is called. It is the left southmost dock in the Pale Reach. You're getting the last bit of lore here from the spirit. So you can go ahead and talk with them and find out what happened. This area also has an added sound cue, just to let you know when you're in the area. It's the only place where you'll hear these kind of sounds like crows or ravens, some kind of bird off in the distance, and it will you'll be able to hear those birds before and after you finish this side pursuit. Just in case you need to know where you are, if you can hear the birds, you know you're in the Southern Loctus area. So now that we have a pickaxe in our cargo, we can start the part of this pursuit here, put in the first, or use the first pickaxe, and the spirit is freed, and that will close one of the 4 eyes. Now we know there's 4 spirits altogether, so you can pretty much figure out what's going to happen next. And look what we get. We get what looks kind of like a glass, wispy kind of jellyfish, I guess you could say. But obviously that is what goes into that little sacrifice area, altar, whatever that's called, that we saw just recently. We also passed by a glowing area. See, there's the map, Southern Locus, the bottom left area, and I should be turning around. Maybe I go around this. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go back to that glowing yellow or golden thing that was in the water, and it's going to, I believe, be another pickaxe. Yeah, there we go. Because there really isn't anything else to retrieve other than the fish from this area at this point. More pickaxes, the ice shaper that we need, the one rare fish that we haven't found yet, but we will find soon. That actually might be where it is. I can't remember. I feel like it is in the southern area. This might actually be it. Because it's a single... Nope, it's just a goblin shark. There you go, but at least you can take that with you. So we're going to head off to the other docks, and we're going to find some additional pickaxes along the way. Oh, here we go. Here's the rare. I thought I was in this area. So again, this is not tied to the traveling merchant. If I can actually click on it, it's not. It's the sleeper shark. It's not tied to the traveling merchant's pursuit that you're given in the main game to find the recording rarities is the pursuit name, to find the very special rare fish that are in the 4 corners of the map. And now we're outside those 4 corners. We're at the southernmost point of the map in this Pale Reach DLC. But there you go. So you just need to find that. There's only one of them. Collect it. You're going to get a good bit of money for it when you sell it off. But that's all you need to do as far as that one is concerned. It's just one more to cross off for the trophy for finding all of the varieties of fish in the Pale Reach DLC. And that trophy, as I'm stalling because I'm heading back to the trophy list, here is Polar Angler. Catch all known species of fish in the Pale Reach. So you'll just need to get that sleeper shark just to complete that trophy. And I think, yep, looks like I am going to go head towards the next pickaxe just to get that crossed off my list. At some point, I do turn it into passive mode just to get a bit of a more speed, faster execution of some of these items, just so I don't have to worry about working through the night. But the narwhal is still a threat, I believe, even in passive mode. I may be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. I don't do it until probably the 3rd or 4th video. But you're going to see me complete this whole pursuit here and get the Under the Ice trophy as well. Okay, so so this is the main quest then. I didn't realize this was the main quest. I thought this was the side pursuit. So you get the Icebreaker, and thus you can get the pickaxes and free these spirits and deal with that four-eyed thing, and that will complete the main quest of the Pale Reach, entitled Under the Ice. All right, so we're gonna keep moving on, getting our rewards, finding more pickaxes in areas you need the Icebreaker to get into. And once we get all 4 of these, you'll see what's going to happen here. So we're going to let this play out a little bit, and I will come back with more commentary once there's something to talk about. Just a quick note as we're coming out of the ice island here. You see that thing off to the side there on the left, just at the edge of the ice. I went back into the game to identify what that was, and that's just the crab, the large crab that's hidden, disguising itself as a shipwreck in ice. So don't bother going over there. We saw that. I believe it was the first video we saw that. And I don't think I mentioned it at the time because I was talking about other things, but in case you were curious what that was. And right off to the left there, that is an area where you can feed the narwhal in order to get a little break from running away from his attacks, which I didn't do. Of course, I got attacked as I was dredging for the next pickaxe. Ice axe. It is called an ice axe. You know what? I can't win. So there you go. But just as we previously did to have the narwhal break those large ice walls before we got the Icebreaker, you can put fish into that depository and it will buy you some time to navigate this open area without worrying about the narwhal attacking you. At this point, if you're fully equipped, if all of your whole upgrades are in place, if you have money coming out the wazoo from all of the fish you've sold throughout the game, a couple hits from the narwhal is not going to really break the bank. You have a full 6 hit points. So, but if you want to avoid that, then go ahead and put some fish in there. We just freed the 3rd spirit, and we did find that ice axe in the central area here. We got our 3rd stone, and we're going to move on to the final dock at Eastern Terminus, I believe. I believe that's where that is. I believe I made a mistake there. I probably should have left the exclamation point marker there, because I believe that was the first ice axe that I retrieved. And I am going to go back and try to pinpoint exactly where I picked those ice axes up for the guide, and just kind of make a map just showing exactly where they are. Because, I mean, it's pretty easy to tell where you need to go to get them, but I don't want to leave any bit of information out of the guide. So I will likely be pulling that up and putting that into either the end of this guide, end of this video, or at least for the trophy guide on PlayStationTrophies.org. I have not watched ahead, but I believe I'm heading, yes, so I'm heading to the last dock. We're going to wrap up under the ice, the pursuit, and get the trophy as well. And we're going to put in those 4 items that we received into that altar and see what we get. So keep watching, see what transpires here, or take care of it yourself in your own game and enjoy the experience. So now that we have completed that section of the pursuit, we have one more thing that we need to do, and another item that we can now pick up. I'm not 100% sure if you have to pick this item up in order to complete the pursuit, but this item works kind of like a relic, and we'll see what it is in just a minute here, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So essentially, I guess we kind of warded away some kind of giant narwhal creature with 4 eyes, and off of its horn broke off this golden item. And so here it is. We're gonna pull it from the deep, just like we would any of the 5 relics from the main game. Of course, I haven't dredged very much in this DLC, so a lot of practice here. And it's the Aurora's Anchor. I believe I put that down. Okay, so it says fragment of the golden splintered horn Discordant. That's a little too small for me to read, unfortunately. But basically what this does, as you can see, you cast this overboard to create a reusable two-way portal. And much like Manifest, it will allow you to go directly to Blackstone Isle, but it will also allow you to go right back to where you came from, which is a nice feature. Normally when you use Manifest, you go to Blackstone Isle and then you're kind of stuck there and have to go back to wherever you're going. But generally we were going there after we finished a corner of the map that we didn't really need to return to for much else. But here you can drop that, create a portal, use it to go back and forth as many times as you want. Then you can pick it up and put it back on your boat, take it with you, and drop it at another time. You can leave it in storage, you can leave it on your cargo. So I don't use it throughout the time I'm playing the DLC here, and after I had gotten all the trophies, I decided, because there's really no reason to leave the Pale Reach. I didn't use the item, so I decided to come back and capture what that looked like, how it worked, and that is when I discovered that the Little Marrow, is that what it's called? I believe the area where the trader is, and while they're looking for the belt buckle and things like that, that's when I realized the painter was added and all the new crab aberrations were added to the game as well. So you'll see some of that in part 4. All that's left for the main quest here is to return to the altar, which is in the larger area here, like behind us. A bunch of different ways we can go. I think I was probably just exploring. A lot of the others. Oh no, I was incorrect. It's not in the large area. It is the area to the right of that large open area. And unfortunately I only had one in my cargo, so we're gonna do that, return to the traveling merchant, get the rest out of storage, and then we are going to see what we get as a reward for completing that pursuit. So I decided to cut that out. Basically what I did was I returned to the traveling merchant. I sold the very few fish that I had obtained, and I put the other 3 glass hearts, I think is what they're calling them, in my cargo out of storage, so that we could come back here to the central. No, it's not the central camp. It's where the words central camp are, but it's the area to the right of the central camp. So we're going to make our deposit here of these frozen hearts. There you go. From the 4 frozen spirits. All members of the same crew. They got pulled into a bad situation, I guess, here in the ice. And there you have Under the Ice. That is the completion of the main objective. And for you get the brittle... not the brittle trawl net, you get the radiant trawl net. So basically just an improved version. Yields more per day, 7x7. It's ice, coastal, oceanic, and shallow. Lasts for 4 days before you have to repair it. But I've never had issues with any of my fish being spoiling, being in the net. And I imagine it probably keeps them fresher because it's icy. And that's it. That's all you use that for. You can't revisit it. And that's the end of that. But going forward, that is definitely going to be the trawl net that we use. Unless we're visiting the mangrove or the volcanic area, I think that trawl net is going to help us catch pretty much everything that we would possibly need. As I was going into the game just a few hours ago, as I was working on this commentary, and I wanted to identify what that item was that thing in the ice that I discovered was the hidden crab. I had caught a prawn aberration on my way over to the Pale Reach. So using this net, you can catch all sorts of good stuff. Oceanic, coastal, shallow, and ice. So definitely worth completing that pursuit for this DLC and obtaining that reward and using the item you get for it. So the only thing left to do, and I'm not 100% sure I do it in this video, but looking at the amount of time left, I am going to guess that I do. That is to simply go to the left of where we are right now at the Traveling Merchant, and around, no, it must be right. Yeah, I have it. It's left when you're looking at the map, but it's right. It's the way we're facing right now, the way the boat is facing. Go around to the next kind of curve of the island to retrieve the ice shaper, so that we can have our Traveling Merchant friend start making blocks of ice, so we can work on that final extra trophy in the DLC. And I am incorrect. I just looked ahead to the next minute that's in here. It's just me sitting here at the dock. We will tackle the ice shaper for the fresh fish trophy, as well as catching the colossal squid and the rest of the known species and aberrations in the next video or two. This is a 4-part, possibly 5-part series. So stay tuned for the next one, in which we wrap up some of these items and enjoy this DLC. Hope this helped. Take care.